Kozhi Theeyal, chicken Theeyal. I'm Russell Phipps and this is my channel, Manna with Spice, where I show you how I cook Indian cuisine and British Indian restaurant dishes. I prefer my meat to be on the bone, so I'm actually going to show you how I prepare a whole chicken for this dish. If you are not a fan of chicken on the bone, then what I would suggest is that you use the same weight, which is approximately 1.4 to 1.5 kilograms, using boneless chicken thighs. There is a slight difference in the quantity of water you would use, which I will explain later. Translated, Kozhi is a domestic bird that has been bred to be eaten or for its eggs. Theeyal means burnt dish. Strictly speaking, you could say that this is a burnt chicken dish. I'm going to give you a very simple recipe. You have a masala that is used by dry roasting coconut and other spices. And it is this that gives it the distinctive colour, hence the name Theeyal. Let's get on with preparing the chicken. Discollate the chicken legs and the thighs by bending the chicken back. I will actually remove the skin from the joints afterwards. Normally I'll do this at the very beginning, but I want to show you just how you can actually prepare a whole chicken. You then cut the tail and just go straight through it. Likewise, you go through the wings, going through the cartilage. We then remove the chicken legs and thighs, and we remove them together as one by just cutting through the flesh and the skin and going round. I will then cut through the cartilage so you have got the leg and the thigh. Now, depending on the size of the legs and the thighs, I may just chop them in half. You then need to remove the breast. I tend to do this by cutting from the wishbone away from me. This is not a normal style. You just use whatever way you prefer. Once you've got the chicken breasts off, you then cut the chicken tenders. You've got the carcass left. Put it in the pan with some water. Just add the offcuts of the vegetables and everything else that you're using into the pan. Bring it up to the boil and you've got yourself a chicken stock. This dish is cooked in two parts: the roasting of the masala and the boiling of the chicken. They can be cooked simultaneously, but for demonstration purposes, I will be cooking them one after the other. In the description, I'll put all the ingredients and the exact quantities that I am using for this dish. And I'll give you a tip at the end on how to reduce the heat from the chilies in this dish without compromising on the flavour. In Kerala, they would tend to use fresh coconuts. Now, I would crack the coconut and keep the water, and I'll actually use that water to add to the additional water that I'm going to be putting in the chicken to boil it. Now, I'm using fresh coconut. You can use desiccated coconut, and there is a difference in the way that you'd actually do this dish if you're going to do that, which I'll explain after the roasting of the masala section for this video. So let's get on with the masala. You need a large flat-based frying pan, preferably non-stick, but it is not essential. As you can see, I'm not using one. Place this over medium-low heat, allow it to heat up, add the coconut, dried chilies, whole coriander seeds, and sliced onion. I'll put a link in the description on how I crack and extract the flesh from a coconut that I have made previously. Stirring constantly, you want the coconut to become golden brown. Even though Theeyal means burnt dish, you do not want the coconut to burn. Once golden, take it off the heat, stir in a tablespoon of coconut oil, and please use coconut oil, not any other oil. Stir that in, add the fennel seeds, and set aside. And once it's cooled, you'd use the liquid that the chicken is being boiled in to mix with and turn it into a paste. I mentioned about desiccated coconut. You will need to use about a third less in weight or volume. And because this is already dry, when you go to dry roast it, it will literally take a couple of minutes. And there lies the problem. I would dry roast or broil the desiccated coconut Once it's golden, I'll remove it from the pan and put it onto a cold dish. I'll then add the chilies, onions and coriander seed, and I'll carry on broiling them until the onion starts to go golden. I'll then take it off the heat, mix in the desiccated coconut that has been roasted, and then carry on as before by adding the coconut oil and fennel. If you like this dish or any other recipes that I produce on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. We're now going to boil the chicken. So get the following ingredients. You want your chicken, ginger, garlic, onion, salt, turmeric, chilies, and just put it all into one pan. Add the coconut water if you're using it, plus additional water, and fill it till it is approximately half covered. I mentioned earlier on that if you aren't using chicken on the bone and you're just using meat, you want to reduce the amount of water by about a quarter because there is more moisture in the meat than there is in the bone. Bring this up to simmering point, cover and reduce the heat and simmer until the chicken is virtually cooked through. Now you'll know this because if it's on the bone, it would have actually shrunk slightly off the bone, and if you cut it, it's the same colour all the way through. We're only talking 15 to 20 minutes from the point of simmering. Now you want to add that masala paste, thoroughly mix it in, bring it back up to simmering point and continue to cook for about 5 minutes or until the masala's consistency is to your liking. It's now ready to serve, but before serving, sprinkle it with a generous handful of fresh curry leaves and a drizzle of coconut oil. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. I mentioned at the beginning this tip by reducing the heat of the chili. The hottest part of the chili is the placenta, and this is the part that is nearest to the stem on the inside of the chili, and it tends to be white. The next hottest parts are the pith and the seeds. So if you remove all of this, you will reduce the heat of the chili quite dramatically. However, it is still dependent on the type of chili you are using. I'll put a couple of videos up here that I think you may be interested in. Please leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.